We're moving on to the important discussion of the hour. India has released its most comprehensive public hit list of Pakistan-based terrorists in recent years. The Ministry of Home Affairs has designated 23 Pakistani-based terrorists under the UAPA, taking the total number of individually designated terrorists under the law to 80. The list includes operatives linked to Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jamaat-ud-Dawa, many of whom are accused of planning, facilitating and executing cross-border terror operations against India from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The names include masterminds of the 2016 Nagrota attack, operatives linked to the 2022 Sunjwan attack, launch commanders, recruiters, financiers, arms smugglers and infiltrator handlers. According to the MHA, all have played key roles in sustaining Pakistan-backed terror infrastructure targeting India. The announcement also comes against the backdrop of Operation Sunindur, where India eliminated over 100 terrorists and a series of mysterious killings of Pakistan-based terror operatives, including Kandahar hijacker Zahoor Mistri and LET commander Abu Khalid. The message from New Delhi appears clear. Gone are the days when India relied only on dossiers and diplomatic protests. By publicly identifying these operatives, India is signaling that every individual involved in cross-border terrorism is now firmly on its radar. Joining us to take this very important conversation is Major General Dr. Rajan Kochar, defense expert, who joins us on the broadcast. Ms. Malika Pandey, foreign affairs expert. Ambassador Sushil Singhal, former diplomat, is with us as well. Let me come to Major General Rajan Kochar first to get in his perspective. So like I said, as of July 4th, a total of 80 individuals have been designated as terrorists by the Ministry of Home Affairs under the UAPA. This includes the 23 newly added names as well. What does that tell us about India's determination to rip apart terror modules operating in Pakistan?
Thank you, Asaveri, for inviting me for this very important discussion because MHA has been on the trail of these people for quite some time now. And as you mentioned, 80 are now on their radar. So it's very important to understand because this is part of a broader strategy to target not only a terrorist organization but individuals who lead terror financing, and that entire network of Hawala and terror financing is to be targeted. And this is a primary counter-terrorism legislation. And it's very important because once you designate an individual, you will be able to freeze his assets. All his financial transactions will be on the radar right now. His international travel is going to be restricted because he will not be able to move out of the country. His passport will be impounded and cancelled. And once arrested, it will be difficult because the UAPA Act to get a bail from any judicial court. So I think this is a very strong tool which the MHA has in trying to disrupt terror networks. And not only by designating these 23 individuals, you will be able to link his handlers, his people, his entire terror links can be identified. And as I mentioned to you, that terror financing is one very important tool because no terrorism can function without money. And if you are able to block that aspect, to a great extent, you will be able to reduce the number of terror activities in the country. And also, it is a message being sent to Pakistan, because I think this messaging also is very important, because once you identify these type of individuals, his network is in Pakistan. Parts of India also he'll have the network, but majority of his network is going to be in Pakistan. So that network also gets disrupted because once a person of this nature is identified. My last point is it is very important for national security. Today we talk of the gray zone warfare. So this is a very important facet of the gray zone warfare, and it also directly impacts the Indian Army operations, because the Indian Army operations on the LOC are counter infiltration and counter terrorism operations, and having this kind of advantage now, by able to identify these people, it is going to uh, 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 assist the Indian Army also in carrying out their own operation, as well as their own intelligence network which has been established in the valley. So I welcome this development from the MHA, and I'm sure there will be great dividends in this.
Right, absolutely. Let me get in a perspective from Ambassador Sushil Singhal. So, I want to understand from you, there was a time when India used to depend on dossiers, making calls. It happened during Operation Sindoor as well, but now, of course, with the MHA coming out and saying that there are 23 individuals who've been designated as terrorists under the UAPA, how have times changed, and what is the implication that comes with it?
Sorry, these individuals who have been now named under UAPA, this 2019 amendment that gave the power to the government to name the individuals. Earlier, it was only the organizations, and the advantage of doing that, declaring them the terrorists are, practical advantages. And you rightly mentioned that earlier we were talking about only the dossiers were going. Now we are tightening the noose around Pakistan and their, the narrative. What the advantage is? First of all, the Pakistan's deniability, because these people are all based in Pakistan. So Pakistan keep denying that, that we don't have anybody. But now, what the India has done, we have putting out the names and what activity and where they are. So Pakistan, it's become very difficult for Pakistan to deny that these people are not there. Secondly, we should remember this FATF. This is a very important organization which tracks this terror financing. And we should remember that in 2022, only that Pakistan came out with the grey list. But the FATF is still tracking. So it becomes, the Pakistan has to explain how, if there is a financing, terrorist financing, how is happening, and these organizations and individuals, now they will get a special attraction. Then, as I said, the financing will become very, very difficult for them. The fake NGOs and all that becomes very, very difficult for them. And it is helping India. It will help India in making the international case. Because we will be able to, once we have this, declared them to be terrorists under our law,
right?
We will be able to take help of Interpol, UN effort, and Pakistan's security establishment. So far, they have been always denying. So they will get exposed in this. But of course, we have to remember that it will not happen. Everything that once we have declared, Pakistan will be forced. But no, I think it's a long-term process. What we have started is a long-term process. Now, legally, we are tightening the noose around Pakistan, and it will have a long-term implications. Over a period of time, we will start seeing the results. Earlier, we were just doing the dossier, as you rightly said, but now we are looking at long-term implications and how to tighten the noose around Pakistan, and we will see the result in year or so.
Right. Absolutely, Major General Sudhakarji, let me come to you over here, because everyone knows that Pakistan is a country that plays the victim card. They never take responsibility. But when India comes out, puts the names, puts the terror organization names out there, and the reason why they have been designated as terrorists, do you think the world is going to be watching this closely? Is it going to catch the attention?
No. Sabri, thank you. Good evening. Thank you for taking me for your show, and my very warm greetings to distinguished co-panelists. A short answer to your question is no. World will not take note of this. World will not extend any support. India has to fight the battle by itself. I tend to agree and compliment the ambassador the way he has said. Basically, what is it that India wants? India wants the trans-border terrorism must stop. If trans-border terrorism must stop, why hasn't it stopped for past 30 or 40 years? So if it has not stopped, that means there are lacunas, there are groups, there are the loopholes. Those loopholes are gradually being plugged in a systematic, in a very technical and scientific manner. Whether FATF, also be mindful of the fact that FATF may not, it's going on. They're also playing a hardball in Mexico, but whether they will accept it or not, I doubt. As long as the Munir is sitting on the lap of Donald Trump, it will be very difficult to push the agenda, India's agenda, and make Pakistan put it under the grey list. Because blacklist is a very far-fetched dream. If that happens, it's a welcome development, but the issue remains that we have to be as cunning, as guileful, as circumspect in our approach in order to circumvent all possible visible and invisible impediments. Because now the stage has come, we have to play, India is playing a hard ball. There is no messaging, strategic messaging stage is over. Now it is a hard ball. Pakistan has to be encircled, has to be cornered from all sides, from all possible components, whether it is economy or diplomacy or military might or river water or anything. I'm glad that people at the decision making, they have used the right acronym, right adjectives as far as the Indus Water Treaty is concerned. I heard some government official 2 days back that they have clarified it is not abrogation, it is held in abeyance. So that's a beautiful terminology usage of English language, and our diplomats doing a fantastic job. They need to be complimented. So here is one step which Home Ministry has issued out. We are not leaving any scope. Whether FATF imposes those limitations and restrictions on Pakistan or not, but we have told them that an act of terror is to be treated as an act of war, and hum ghus ke marenge. It is happening whether you take Dhurandhar 1 and 2 as movies or the real things happening there. I don't say India is involved in this, but there is also a kind of a signaling taking place. This time or never, India is not going to take it lying, and Operation Sindoor is still open. Anything happening, even a blade getting destroyed by any kind of undesirable military or projectile or any military activity by state actors or non-state actors, India is going to play merry hell with Pakistan and make sure what the erstwhile chief of the army staff, Upendra Dwivedi, had said, that do they want to stay in the geography and remember their history? If they don't, India is prepared to give them that lesson as well. Back to you.
Right,
Assam.
absolutely. Let me get in a perspective from Malika Pandey over here. Malika, I want to understand from you. Well, I'm sure Pakistan is completely aware of the fact that 23 of the terrorists have been designated, and their names have been put out, photographs are there. How does a Pakistan react in a situation like so?
Good evening, Asavari. This clearly is a message that India has had enough. India is now legally naming, shaming, and dismantling their networks. And Pakistan is all rattled. You see, Pakistan has $287 billion of internal and external debt. It is economically failing, financially failing. There are a lot of, in global index terrorism, it has been ranked 1 this year. Now, Pakistan, of course, there is no self-reflection that will come with this, Asabri. They have continuously, just half an hour ago, I was debating with the Pakistani journalist on your Hindi network, and he just said that, oh, they have not been named by the UN Security Council. We don't recognize anything that the government of India is doing. Well, pre-2019, Asabri, if you remember, before UAPA amendments, we could only name the organization. Now this is a huge crackdown that we have done, naming the individual. Now we can target these individuals, like sir and my co-panelists have categorically mentioned of how it is going to be useful. We can globally freeze their asset. We can ban their travels. We also saw that, there's this Bengaluru techie also who has been named in this list, Faisal, who was involved in the Rameshwaram Cafe Bengaluru blast. I mean, he has been training, a lot of young people online, social media funding. Now, everything can be monitored. And one example of this has come very recently, which is today, that 8 terrorists have been identified by ATS Gujarat from Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. 8 of them have been caught at in Gujarat today. So, the government is up for dismantling it. So Pakistan, if they don't recognize it, if it recognizes it, it doesn't matter to India. They are a failing economy. They don't matter to us. What India is doing now is a well calibrated move, Savary, against dismantling the networks.
Right, absolutely. Let me get in a perspective from Major General Rajan Kochar over here. And so I want to understand from you, what is the strategic objective behind identifying these designated terrorists? Their names are out there, their photographs are out there. Yes, one of course very fundamental factor that comes is being able to safeguard your borders, being able to safeguard your people. But what is the larger objective over here?
A good question, Aswari, because I think the larger objective is to announce to the international community that how deep-rooted terrorism is in Pakistan, because all these people are of Pakistani origin. They are citizens of Pakistan. So I think it's a strong messaging to the entire world that terrorism is not India's problem. Terrorism is the world's problem, and unless they recognize this, see, we don't have to wait for a 9/11 or something like that to happen for America to understand that terrorism is an international problem. And it cannot be tackled by India by just naming. I tend to agree with Sudhakar, because you see, what happens is that by naming as such, you are not really shaking up the world, but one important aspect what you are doing is you are sending a strategic message to the entire world community, because right now Pakistan is riding on a highway because of its involvement in mediation, etc., and also its proximity to the United States. And also look at the timing. The timing of these this announcement of these 23 people is when the FATF is going on, and I think that is also relevant and to be understood, because timings of such disclosures are very important for the world to understand that in spite of Operation Sindoor, where you announced to the world, and after Pahalgam happened, that you destroyed 9 terrorist camps of Pakistan. And in spite of all that, Pakistan has not learnt its lesson. So I think and I'll be slightly off the cuff to say that our strategy to counter these guys must change. Because you see, we are very soft kind of approach is there. We need to have a harder approach, something like the Israelis do, because they have that Mossad and the intelligence system, and they are able to make out where this guy is walking around or moving around, and they can strike. And Pakistan is well within our own range, and today the technology is such that you can hire people within Pakistan also to do your work. And well, I won't say much on that, because it's part of the overall strategy of all countries. But definitely, the strategy is to name and shame Pakistan, make the world understand that Pakistan is still harboring terrorism. Also, one last point: the Shoaib Akhtar incident, which was also covered in your channel, and I was in other channels also speaking on that. So these are pointers to the world that even in public gatherings, these guys are respected, these guys are treated well by the Pakistani military, by the Pakistani security agencies. They are being sheltered there. So I think all these things, all these visuals which actually come out should be compiled, because I think that's the most we can do, because we can project to the world that it is time to tackle or confront Pakistan on these issues, because unless we do that, see, these attacks will not be
Right.
limited to India. They are a part of Al Qaeda network also, and don't be surprised if these individuals also get into this thing situation in targeting other parts of the world.
Right, absolutely. Major General Sudhakarji wants to make a point, but sir, before you make that, I also have another question that I wanted to pose to you, because I remember very clearly that during Operation Sindoor, drone incursions were obviously taking the headlines, but the story behind the scenes, which was cyber warfare, was also a very critical challenge that India had to take on. What could one perhaps, or what could the government perhaps do when it comes to cyber warfare, which is something that is being given importance now?
Yeah, Sabri, thanks for giving me this chance, and let me clarify to our viewers. Enough of talking has taken place from India's side. We have given and listened to the world and their comments, and there is nothing worthwhile which has happened to support India's aim and objective. It's time that India is taking the right course of action. There is no requirement of any strategic messaging. India has taken very deliberate and conscious decision. Soon you'll be hearing, even if the terrorist is hiding in A, B, C, D countries, they will be taken care of. Very soon, you may have to have patience to wait and watch Dhurandhar 3, where these kind of serials also would be incorporated in the pictures. What I'm coming to is, enough of water have flown down all the Indus rivers and the system into Pakistan. It's about time that the nation wakes up and takes very bold and decisive action to take care of the terrorists. Before they launch from the soil of Pakistan, they need to be taken care of. Before they launch from any country, Azerbaijan, Turkey, Bangladesh, any country for that matter, India must attain that kind of capability. It is not only hearsay, it is not only rhetoric. We need to equip ourselves theoretically, policy-wise, as also capability-wise, to be proactive and neutralize all the terrorists. It is that stage of talking and lip service is over. I'm glad that Malika, like lady, is there. We require bold ladies like them to look at things with clarity and be very decisive in the approach. What nation wants? Do you want to do mollycoddling Pakistan? And coming to the cyber question, enough water has flown down all the rivers in India. India has woken up late, but we have taken very meaningful and substantive steps to counter the cyber attacks which are being launched. Let me give the example of 2020, 21, 22. We had a case of Northern Grid going total blackout for more than 12 hours. It happened more than 7 times in a limited time period. We also had Mumbai, complete Mumbai going absolutely dark several times, more than once. We had Indigo website getting hacked, the AIMS website getting hacked, and the information was stolen. We had Big Boy oil field also being hacked, and there were demands of extortion. Such like things have been taking place. So all these are actually instruments of the cyber power and the cyber attacks. We have been able to narrow down that many of the operators are ex-China. And majority, I would say, suitable steps and actions are being taken. The cyber command, which was holding fire for quite some time, lingering on, has started taking shape. And as on today, very proud, although I'm not privy to the internal dynamics and the confidential subjects, but I'm aware that a lot of meaningful steps are being taken to counter all these measures so that the drone warfare, which is picking up momentum by the day, they are countered effectively. When I say cyber, I also mean electromagnetic spectrum. I also mean the space technology. Today, the modern warfare is being fought by multi-domain operation. The centrality of the multi-domain operation, apart from inactive and the hybrid method, is the drone warfare. In the drone warfare, the center of gravity is in the first-person view. First-person view means the pilot is on the ground, he's with the goggles on, and there is a thin optical fiber, hair-like thin optical fiber, connecting with the aerial platform, and he's like looking through the cockpit and directing the loiter ammunition to latch into the target. That is a to and fro, back and forth kind of exchange of information, digital data, live relay is taking place.
Right.
That's how he's able to maneuver effectively. So a lot of things are happening. We have to have patience and have trust in our government and the dispensation which is taking the right step at the right time.
Right, so absolutely. I'm really short on time, but Ambassador Sushil Singhal, I leave the last word to you.
The step our Home Ministry has taken, I think, is very positive. And what India is doing now is playing a long-term game, as I said. Now, what will happen is, of course, instantly we expect some results. That will not happen. But the legal noose is tightening, and in India also, the people who have been helping these terrorists and getting away, once these people are put in the Schedule 4, then anybody found trying to help them in any form, they immediately become accessory and they can be prosecuted. So in India also it will have an impact, because we know that we keep finding modules which are working for these kind of organizations. So the taking action against them will become easier, and also that as I said, this is a legal record which we are creating, and it will choke their network as well as their weapon systems and inability to travel, because mind you, some of them are of Indian origin. About 5 or 6 people are from India. So their passport will be impounded, have already been impounded, and they will not be able to travel because they don't have the citizenship papers. So the point is that now what we are looking is the long-term strategy,
Right.
bringing out the game which has been exposing the game rather, which Pakistan has been playing for a long time, and now I think the time has come that they can stand exposed, and this action, I think, will be again. This is I think this series of steps will be
Okay.
taken now by Government of India.
Absolutely.
This is the, I think, big thing.
All right. With that, I'd like to thank all our guests for joining us.